Hello world, good morning. So today I want to talk about the power, the efficiency of having habits and routines, of things kind of running automatically in the background. Some of what I want to talk about is actually inspired by a video by Myron Golden, so I'll link to that down below. And part of it is also by some things I've been getting out of Atomic Habits, another great book. Link down to that below. And I just, personal experience from literally this morning. I've been recording these videos now for I don't know, going on 4 or 5 weeks. Oosh, wow. I think this is number 18, 19, something like that. So 3 week 7? No. Really? 16? 6? Well, whatever it is, it's longer than I've ever considered doing something like this before. Hard to believe it's still going, but on the other hand, it's almost harder to not do it. And that's the whole point of what I want to talk about. This morning, as I was thinking about, what I might want to talk about as I got ready to go out on my walk, I actually started thinking about other options. I know it's dark, you can't see me, might not make the best of videos. I was thinking about, well, what are the things that I could do to make it better? More people will watch, that sort of thing. I've noticed that in my trends, not that I'm out for the millions of views, but the more people I can get to watch, the more people I can try and help in some way. But in any case, I'm still doing this just for me, the practice, the experience, and for my children to be able to watch someday, and my grandchildren, and say, hey, that was dad, that was granddad. But, I'd still like to think about how to improve, right? That is, I think, the most natural thing and most important thing we should do in this life is think about how we can improve things, the changes we need to make to become better at whatever it is we're doing. And I considered, what about taking a walk later in the day? And what if I record these out on a walk in the afternoon? It also helps that it'll be warmer, and I admit that was actually probably the first reason I started thinking about this. But then I realized also, if I go out later, it'll be light, you can actually see me. But then I thought, but where am I gonna go? Because if I take a break at work, for example, I'm going to go out when there's a lot of traffic. Okay? I'm gonna be out in a place where there's gonna be a lot of traffic, a lot of noise. That will be worse in other ways. If I wait until I get home, taking time away from the kids, that's completely against the point of these. So it's like, okay, maybe I'll try sometime, kind of an experimental video when I'm taking a break or something, but that's also something I can't guarantee I'll have the time to do every day. But the whole time I was thinking about all this, there's just kind of something inside me that was getting a little anxious, maybe a little like, okay, let's get going, let's get started with the day. What are you doing? And I realized that this morning walk has already become a full-blown part of my schedule. Like, it has become a habit. It's become something I just do automatically, which is kind of crazy to think about. No, it hasn't been that long. It's only been trying to count it up, 6 or 7 weeks, something like that. And here I am, finding it easier to just go out and do it than to not. And I think that is actually just what I read about last night in Atomic Habits. I've been reading it with my wife before bed. Great habit to get into is reading good books, at night before bed. I'll read scriptures in the morning, first thing to start my day. And then at night when I'm winding down, I'll find something to read to learn from, something I want to improve and do in my life. And I found there are lots of great things in this book to learn from. And what I read last night was about how a study was performed back in starting in 1898 about animals trying to, forget the name, I'll put this down in the description, but this man did a study on animals. He started with cats in a box, had a little maze sort of thing inside the box. Or maybe there wasn't a maze, but they're in a box and there was some way of getting out. There's a door and some way of activating a lever or a button, not a button, but a little thing you step on, something you pull. And in one example, he found that this one cat started with an average over the first 3 tries of about a minute and a half to get out. After, I think it was something like 30 trials, on the last 3, the average was only about 6.5 seconds, 6.3 seconds to get out. It steadily decreased the amount of time it took to get out because it learned what worked, what didn't, and it just became automatic for it to go and do the thing it needs to do to get out of the box. With our habits, our brain, your conscious mind, when you're thinking about something, like I'm thinking about what to say right now, there's only really one thing you can think about at a time. If you think about more than one thing, you're switching between them. At least for me it is, and I'm sure most of us, I don't know if it's possible to be thinking about more than one. And how am I walking? How am I breathing? Doing all these other things at the same time? Well, that's all the unconscious, the subconscious brain. And Myron Golden, I really like the way he put it. I can't remember the exact words he used, but I think it was something like the manual and automatic parts. That might not be right, but I'm going to call it that. One thing that I really liked that he talked about, and I saw this one like 2 months ago maybe, was instead of calling it the conscious and subconscious brain, he called it something like manual and automatic. The idea being the things you do automatically are what are in the subconscious. The subconscious is what you just do without thinking about it, right? And his whole point was about how those things that are subconscious, that are automatic, you don't think about it, they're what make things happen. Like if you subconsciously believe his thing is about growing in business and sales, that sort of thing. So using it as an example, if you believe that you can't make the sales, you don't have what it takes to grow your business or make money, then you won't. You won't do the things. You'll limit yourself. If you reprogram that subconscious, right? The point is, if you take the time to focus with your conscious mind, focus on reprogramming the things that you have in your subconscious, you can start believing new things. You can start doing new things, and those things will become automatic. And joining his thoughts with Atomic Habits together, same idea. He just, in Atomic Habits, they're talking about how those are habits. That's how habits are formed. When you do the same thing, when you keep doing that thing long enough for it to be programmed into your subconscious mind, it then becomes automatic. what's the advantage of that? Well, it's something that you had to choose to do to start. So it's something you wanted, even if you wanted it for the wrong reason. Get into the habit of eating ice cream right before bed, right? Sure way to gain a few pounds for the rest of your life, every day. Or you get into the habit of going out on these walks, right? Now it's automatic for me. Well, if I don't have to think about it consciously, if I don't have to put the time in and energy into doing it consciously, then I get the benefits of doing the thing that are good while being able to consciously think about and do something else, right? You regain energy and time into your life by turning these good things into habits. Fortunately, apparently it doesn't take as long as I used to think. It's only been a few weeks. Here I am doing this automatically. Unfortunately, the exact same thing is true of bad habits, or rather things that you wish you weren't doing automatically. So, invitation to you today. Think about something that you want to do but aren't doing right now, and just get started, right? And do what it takes to program that into your day. Do what it takes to make it automatic. Turn it into a habit. Focus on that one thing until it's a habit, and then you can move on to focusing on another thing. And if you got like one thing in the morning, one thing in the evening, you can probably work on two at a time, maybe even a few. I'm not sure, I haven't done the research to know how many you could really do at a time, but at any one moment, really there's only one thing we can think about. So get one thing programmed in, one thing dialed in, turn it into a habit, a strong habit that you will never, I won't say never, but that you won't have to think about anymore. And then watch that thing grow, watch that thing expand in your life as you let it just automatically be better each day. Now, if you have something you want to stop doing, same idea. Just maybe start with one thing at a time, or maybe take one good thing, one bad thing you want to stop, but take a habit, pick it, and consciously work on stopping the thing, replacing it. Something I've found in my own life, you can't just remove a thing, you have to replace it with something better. Otherwise you just get left with this void, this emptiness, and your brain, your life, something will just kind of find something else to fill it in. And you don't want it to just be some random thing. So if you have a bad habit, I don't know, chewing your fingernails, or like the ice cream example, think about why you do it. Now, maybe time to find someone to talk to, counsel with. Think about why you do it. Figure out if there's a root cause that you need to fix, some sort of emotion or trauma or that sort of thing. But find a good thing to replace it. Instead of biting your nails, go get your clippers and file or something and clean up. I don't know, coming up with terrible examples right now, but that's my invitation. Find something to improve and just start it and keep it up. Let me know here in 6 weeks if it's now completely automatic and you can start working on improving the next thing. You might think, oh, that actually is a long time. Well, if you don't start, never get done. Never is a long time. You look back in a year and go, wow, nothing changed. But if you do one thing at a time, guess what? You can do about 10 things in a year. Not quite, I'm rounding up. You can do about 10 things in a year at about 6 weeks each. That you can just improve. I'm sure you can do a whole lot more than that if you really think about it. But at least minimum, you can do a good 8, 9, 10 things minimum if you're just improving one thing at a time from now until this time next year. So get to it, and it adds up a lot faster than you think. Don't like ending in the dark, so I guess I'll just ramble on for another 5-10 seconds here until I get to this next light post for you. But keep it up, whatever's you're doing. If you're doing great, okay? I know you might not think it, you may not feel it, but if you look back look back at everything you've done, look back at all the improvements you've made. You'll be surprised. Small things add up to big things. Okay, I'll leave link down in the video. Also the book. Full disclosure, it will be affiliate link. Why not? I don't make these videos to make money, but if you do decide to get it, it would help out if I get a few cents for it. Why not? So feels weird saying that, but I guess that's a new thing to get in the habit of, is admitting that you know, I got kids to feed myself, and be nice to share the love, if you will. I don't know how to say this sort of thing. It's not something I've practiced, so I'll get in the habit of that, I guess, and see how it goes in another few weeks. Okay, see you in the next one.